Folks, it's Euro joke time. Tonight we're going to do variations on the theme of waiter, waiter, there's a fly in my soup, and our hostess is Viscountess Boyle.
England.
English, right.
Waiter, waiter, there's a fly in my soup.
Oh, yeah.
Angleterre, 3 points. France.
Waiter, there is a fly in my soup.
Do not worry, sir. The spider on the bread roll will get in.
La France, 3 points. Deutschland.
Waiter, there is a fly in my soup.
Jewish wine!
Deutschland, 6 Punkten. Israel.
Waiter, there's a fly in my soup.
That'll be £1 extra, sir. Keep going.
Israel, 3 points. Irlande.
Waiter.
Yes, sir.
There's a fly in my soup.
Don't worry, sir. I'll save him.
Good evening and welcome to another exciting show. I just had to add that. I mean, that's humour from the old days, and it's my hero, Spike Milligan. And I'm very much a fan of Spike Milligan. And just think about it. He would have been 18, 19, 22. He'd been 106 now, if he's still alive. But I think it's important to remember our past people. Anyway, welcome to another exciting show. And you'll notice that Fred the Plant was so popular last week, I've invited him on again. What do you think, Fred? He's doing an impersonation of Keir Starmer this week. So, Keir, over to you. Bloody good, isn't it? I mean, he's been practicing all week, I think, for it. But that is Keir Starmer to a T, isn't it? Sort of. And also he does Joe Biden as well. See? It's good, isn't it? Anyway, you're probably wondering what this is. It's my new dangly microphone, which I use for the Sunday show, but I don't use for the Monday show. Now you're probably wondering, why is it he didn't have any guests last week, and why is it he didn't have any guests this week? Well, remember, it is summer and it's very warm, and I think I forgot the deodorant. Now, what it is, the end of July, it's always difficult to get guests on because they're on holiday and they're out, they're busy, etc., etc. And it's like this every year, but it's worse this year because of one factor. It's because I have a Sunday show on Rumble, and people, I say to people, right, okay, would you like to come on my YouTube show where we're censored, we can't say things, or if you want to say tit and bum and words like that, you can go on my Rumble show. And they say, oh yes, we go on the Rumble show. So everybody's opted to go on the Rumble show on Sunday, but they're not so much on the YouTube. But I'll show you the schedule for I'm booked up till September, believe it or not. It's only this 2 weeks at the end of July, which is the problem. And I think it's the kids breaking up from school that does it as well, because people got to look over after their children and that. So here it is. Now here's the schedule. Now last night John Hamer was on, and we did a cracking show with John Hamer and Paul English. And if you want to go over to my Rumble channel, not now, don't desert me. If you want to do this actually after the show or tomorrow, it was on, here it is, and it was about the Secret Handshake Brigade. And of course, we've got here 33 degrees basins, selected in, well, I won't read it out, but there could be a secret message in that subheading. Work it out for yourself. I mean, I don't know. I can't see it. I don't know about you. Oh, bloody hell, I think. I mean, would I tell a lie? I mean, you got to think of that. I mean, would I kid you? I mean, if I could honestly see that hidden message, just think about it, okay? Anyway, back to here, and here we go. Now we've got Sunday. We had John Hamer on. Tonight it's Flobadob, and I'll tell you the subject what it's about a little bit later. Then on this coming Sunday, on the 28th of July, I do hope you got your diaries out and you're making notes to this. There's Happy Health with Dr. Miles Fleetwood. I'm finally dragging him on, kicking and screaming. And we're hoping to do a form of phone-in where you'll be able to speak to him on air. Because remember, it'll be radio. Then, of course, on Monday, the 29th of July, we've got Josie, who's into, well, I believe she's a naturopath, but she can, well, if she's actually in the chat, she can say, no, you got it wrong, I'm something else. Anyway, no, she doesn't speak like that. She's very nice. So you've got Josie coming on. Then on Sunday, the 4th of August, and it's booked, Dawn Lester is coming on. She's coming on. And I said, why do you like to go on, Dawn? My YouTube channel or Rumble? She said, oh, I can't stand YouTube censorship. Right, we'll go on Rumble. So she's on Rumble. Then on Monday, the 12th of August, we've got Ghost Spirits, UFOs, and the Possible Connection. That's with Ben and Nathan. And then Sunday the 18th, we've got another Nathan Allenby will be on, and it's a show called A Royal Connection. Very interesting, very interesting. That's booked. Then Monday, the 19th of August, there's Ghosts and Spirits. There may be a special new guest on with that one. That's pending. I can't say who it is just yet because I haven't come back and confirmed it. Then we've got Survival Steve coming on the 25th of August with the mathematics of survival. And what that's about is geometry and how things are linked with geometry, dates and things like that. So that's very interesting. Then we've got earthing and magnets for health. Okay. And I had a very nice email back from someone who does magnets and things like that in America. And they come back and they said, and I said, would you like to come on my show? And they said, I have no UK rep. I have no interest in being on the show at this time. I think that actually gets to the point, really, yes. But so I'm looking for somebody else to speak on magnets and things. And then Sunday, the 1st of September, John Hamer may be back. It's pending, but he's going to do another show on the 1st of September. And I haven't put this in here yet, but the Bowler Hat Farmer should be back on the 2nd of September. So we're booked up for August. But these could change. People might say, well, I can't come on that date, and I'll swap it around with another date. So there we are. I'm fully booked for August. Now, I've just had this again. Yes, anybody guessed it yet? Let's have a look. Let's have a look in chat. We've got Paul Green. Very good, very, very good. Guess what time he was on today? 4:36 p.m. That's bloody keen, isn't it? That really is keen. Thanks, Paul. You get the brownie points. And then we've got Mark Anthony. He's on. Look forward to the show. Thank you. And we've got Ralph Winter. And we've got DJ Flipped. And we've got Can't Beat a Bit of Spite. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hello, DJ. And then we've got Stephen Coombs. Good evening, boys and girls. And we've got South Coast Rich. I love Spike Milligan too. Good evening from all SCR, aka Stephen Stones on Rumble. Yeah, 7 Stones on Rumble, sorry. Great show on there last night, by the way. Thank you very much. It worked very, very well. And if Paul English is actually watching this show and wants to come on, just say yes in chat and you'll be straight on, providing you don't say tip bum or anything rude like that, which sets off the sirens in, oh, bloody hell, I've said it now, at YouTube HQ. because I've noticed they're not releasing my videos very early now. You can't record them until over 24 hours after the show's gone out. So that's a bit crafty, isn't it? Then we've got Kate Holly. Evening all. Hope all are okay. Yes, thanks, Kath. Or Kat. Now we got here. Hey, Kath. That's Cy Hop. Hello. And Mark Anthony said, enjoyed the Rumble show last night. Good to hear Mr. Hamer on with you again, as well as Paul English. Yes, they went well together. And John didn't know Paul English was, well, I think he might have guessed, was going to come on, because I like to leave it as a surprise. And next week, Miles, don't tell him, he may be on with another guest. And again, we're going to try and have it so that, because it's radio, you won't be able to use your phone to phone in, but there'll be a link that I'll put there. This bloody thing keeps go away. That's it. I think it. Hang on, what's happened here? I think it's having a bit of trouble with my mic. It's trying to attack me. Hang on, let's do this up. Come on, that's better. Good boy, good boy. It's sort of undone itself for some unknown reason. So it definitely has got a mind of its own. And but now it says what we got here. Yeah, he likes that. Kat says the show on Rumble with John Hamer was really good. Yeah, better than this crap you got tonight, isn't it? Then we got, you really do work so hard to put out the shows, Chris, and it is very much appreciated. Bless you, Kath. That's very kind. I keep calling Kat. Actually, I'm terribly sorry, but that's very, very kind. That's much appreciated. Now on with the show. Now, you know that coming up soon, I might have to do another day a week because, as you can see, I'll have a quick another flash of this. I'm pretty booked up in August, and there's a lot of people want to come on. So believe it or not, except for the end of July. So I might have to do another day of the week. So I'm going to be really cream crackered. But as you may or may not know, I make things. Yes. Oh, we're kinky. And this is one of my latest thingamabobs. And there it is. It's a weather vane. And it's made out of electrical conduit and aluminium drink cans. And if anybody wants to know how to make it, I'll be very, very happy to do a demonstration on the show. I'll have to pre-record it, but if you like making things, it's very straightforward to make. It's very, very useful because the total cost of that was £2. Seriously, the rest of it is scrap. And the drinks cans, I don't use steel tin cans. I use aluminium drink cans because they're easier to cut, and I laminate them into 3 sections and bond it together using epoxy resin. And oh, hang on, I've got to add a little bit for the cost of that, £3 then, because that cost me £1 for the pound shop resin. So you'll notice that I've done the north, east, south, and west. And the way it works is, I mean, it works perfectly. I know which way the wind's blowing, and strangely enough, the wind is blowing from all directions today. So I don't know what the hell's going on. So if you're interested in making one, just say, and there we go. You see. Now, on what I was going to say tonight is about psychology of groups, the psychology of people. I'm going to actually be looking at. And also a little bit of survival, because yours truly has been a bit busy eBay, and I picked up one of these. Now this is a cooker, because I've got a feeling that we're going to have power outages in the winter, not in the summer, in the winter. Okay, because the way the soppy sods of loonies are working, you know, we're going to have not only food shortages but power outages. And the big problem is that if you have things like, you can have gas tanks, what do they call it, a butane gas, you can have gas and things like that, but everybody else will want them. And it's surprising how quickly you use that gas. I mean, I've been on a 2-week camping holiday, and you know, it doesn't last long. And I believe you need flexibility in order to well, shall we say, have a hot drink at least, or get rid of warmth inside you. Because if it's midwinter and it's middle of January and you're freezing, when you're cold, it automatically depresses you. So you want to get yourself warmed up, and the way to get yourself warmed up is to have a hot drink. And of course, you need to boil water. And if you've got no electricity or gas, then you're a bit screwed. So this is what I bought, and this is based on a German design from the Second World War. And there was a company that made them for camping in about mid-1930s, and the German army looked at them and said, "Oh, that is a very good idea. We have ways and means of cooking." And they bought loads of them from this firm that made these. Now, this isn't an actual German one. I don't think it is. This is a BCB. I say BCB. I say it's not actual. It's not the original one, because the original one had a flat bottom there. And as I open this up, there we go. And you cannot buy the originals at all. The ones that they had during the Second World War are completely missing. You will never get them. Apparently, collectors have looked for them and they just can't find them. So, but this is obviously one that was built. Look, I can't open the bleeding thing. Right now, if you actually see one which got a solid base there, and it hasn't got these grooves at the top, it will be a Second World War one, a German one. And when the Allies saw what the Germans had done, they thought, that's a bloody good idea, and they made their own. I think this is a German one. Okay. Now, what you do is you're supposed to put a fuel tablet in there. Okay. And it goes rapidly for about 6 minutes. But, oh, by the way, and you've got this, which stops the wind from, oops, from blowing your flames out. So there it is. It's a bloody good design, good bit of German design there. And I believe the Allies copied them, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all, and everything like that. Now, the thing is that I know a way of making the pellets that go inside for pennies. And if you buy the official ones, they cost the bloody earth. And they don't last long. And the DIY ones last for 20 minutes. And they're made of kitchen foil, cardboard. You can use candle wax, or you can use perlite and methylated spirits. So you can use all kinds of fuels for this. But you could actually cook an egg, I suppose, on a pan. But it's really for heating up water. It's what the army use. It's to heating things up. Or if you have a meal ready to eat, MRE, you can heat it up on here without this bloody thing falling out. So there you are. And I paid less than £5 for this, brand new. About £4.60, something like that. If anybody's interested, I can shove a link on my Telegram channel or down below here. So please say in chat if you're interested in finding out, getting this, and it's well worth the money, because I think we're going to have power outages. And if you use, I think it's eco fuel, you can actually cook with it indoors, providing you open a window or have a little bit of air, because you're not going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning. So there it is. So and of course the good thing about it, I put this in my bug out bag, because if I have to leg it quick, and I think everybody should have one of these, have 48 hours of food and everything you need, and you have a little cooker like this. Doesn't take up much room, and it's as light as a feather. So there we are. So as I say, if anybody's interested, I can put the link, and there's a place in Wales where you can get them from. I think they're about £4.60, £4.70, something like that. Dirt cheap. It's best to buy two, and a backup as well. Always have backup. And the other good thing to have, if you're a cyclist or anything like that, people have Swiss Army knives and things like that. And I was going to show you a knife from World War II that my father had. He carried with him on D-Day. It's very, 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 very rare. I'm not sure I'm allowed to show. I don't know, because I don't know whether they're legal or not. At home it is. I find on a push bike, the best thing you can have is one of these. And you don't have to spend a fortune on them. Pliers. Pliers are the most important thing for getting doing up nuts and things like that. It's heavy, so if I'm on a short journey, I don't take it with me. But if I'm on a long journey, I'll take it with me. And of course, you've got all other accessories on here, and you can get these. I got this from Lidl's, I think. It was about £4.95. Don't have to spend a lot of money, you know. Very, very cheap. And they sometimes, and you've got all the little bits and bobs here you can use, you know, can openers, which you can use actually for repairing a bike with you've got spoke problems and things like that. It's surprising what you use. You've got screwdrivers. In many ways, I'd say this is good as a Swiss Army knife. I mean, I've got a Swiss Army knife. It's quite nice, but again, they're a little bit heavy, and you've got, you know, saw blades and all kinds of things like this. But this is perfectly legal because the blade is less than three inches long, and that's the law. It's got to be less than 3 inches long, and there it is. It locks out like that. So there it is, and you shove it in your pocket, and it has helped me out a lot of times. You know, I needed to pump my tyre up once, and I couldn't get the valve cap open, so it came in handy. And the other thing, again, less than £5. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And this I've just got because I'm like a kid with my gadgets. This is a push bike one. This is from Lidl's, and Lidl's at this. I'm not sure they're still selling. And look at that one. That's a beauty. And you can actually, it's surprising, you can take chains off with it. You've got screwdrivers. You've got all these kind of things on there. You name it, it's on it. But it's useful at home as well, because it's surprising, these tools, you do use them a lot. And of course, you've got one of these new type of screwdrivers, which is multi sort of, you know, you've got little flukes in there. Very handy. Anyway, that's my gadgets of the week. And again, got any questions, just please ask in chat. And I don't believe in spending a lot of money on these things. I mean, all right, I might spend a bit of money out on the Swiss Army knife, which I did. They're good. Very, very good. But I found that this is more useful on a push bike than Swiss Army knife. It really is. And the reason why is because you've got these pliers. And that is one of the most useful tools you can ever wish to have. In fact, I've got one in my car as well, just in case I need it. So that's it. Right. Now, let's have a look in chat. Now it says here, thanks, Kat. Wow, that is amazing. Loving the squirrel. Oh yeah, that's me dooflop, isn't it? That's it. It's my weather vane. Yeah. Trouble is, you see, a squirrel's a bit pissed most of the day because it's made out of a Guinness tin. So yeah, I found Guinness tins are the best to make things out of, because you cut the ends off, you flatten it out, then you cut your template out, and then you stick it on another Guinness tin, glue it with an epoxy resin, and then you put another one on, so you have 3 layers, and that is quite, you know, solid, quite strong. I don't use tin cans for 2 reasons. One is they're steel and they rust, whereas these are, if you're in America, aluminum, or they're an aluminium. And the second thing with this is that it's easier to cut, far easier to cut out. And I mean, all I did, I just printed these off on the internet, you know, north, east, south and west, and then stuck it on the tin can, and then drew it out as a template, and then cut them out with a very sharp knife. And nobody else has got a weather vane like this, and nobody else wants a weather vane like that. Bloody hell, what's that? Hey, crash, you know. Now, Mark Anthony says, I would be interested in picking 1 or 2 of these cookers. Yes, I mean, you've seen my other ones made out of Coke cans. The good thing about these ones is that the Coke can ones are fine. They do work well, but the fuel tablets, your homemade fuel tablets, are smaller and are lighter than carrying a liquid with you. So when you're looking at weight, I've found out this is much lighter to carry with you, because, you know, if I don't know what's going to happen in the future, nobody does, but I've got a funny feeling that they might cordon off an area or something like that, where you've got to get out pretty quick. So you've got to survive for 3 to 4 days in the wild somewhere. I don't know, but that's what I'm sort of think might happen. Now it's just the cheapest, and this is baby with a laser. The cheapest and most effective is Meth's penny stove from a drink can. That's correct. Using 3 tent pegs as a pan stand, correct, or a hobo stove. Yes, I've actually had my drink can on here. I actually made one when Chris the gardener was on, and he was sort of going, "Oh, he thought I was going to cut my hand open or something." But you can make them very, very quick. A penny stove. Now it says, or a hobo stove made from a syrup tin using wax corrugated card as fuel. Yes, you can do that. Put wax corrugated. I don't put. Some people put. You know this insulation, that fiberglass insulation. Some people put that inside the penny stove. I don't. I think it's a waste of time doing that. I just put the meths in, and that's it. And the meths, the cheapest place to buy meths is Toolstation, I found. But if you can find cheaper, please tell me. Because most of these things, are expensive. But again, it's easy. And if you're really in stuck, Survival Steve, he would show you how to light a fire when it's raining and things like that. Now, a good quality plumb tool grips are the best. A lot more torque. Yes, I agree. But the trouble is carrying on your push bike. A plumber's toolkit. I've got them. The bloody great monkey wrench things. Yeah, but I don't think that everything's got to be lightweight on a push bike. I'm talking about push bike. I'd take that, yeah, but I wouldn't take a monkey wrench or anything like that. Now we got here. Pretty sure burning hexamine is now illegal. It is, yes, because it's BOMB making material, so they say. Yes. Me too, Eric. I don't bother with fiberglass. No, and you can make them out these stoves out of tin cans really easily. But the only trouble is getting the tin cans, because you'd think, oh, that's easy peasy. They're everywhere. People lob them out of cars. But all the ones you find, with the exception of a few, have been crunched up, because it seems to be human nature that once they've drunk, they go and crunch the can up. So it's useless. You can't do anything with it. So you have to find a can that has not been crunched up. And there used to be a place, you learn your places. There was a litter bin near a school where the prefects used to, have a quiet smoke and that, and they used to impress the girls by having a drink and that. And they often used to throw the drink cans away because, hi, I'm just flopping it over my shoulder, that type of thing. And they didn't crunch them up. So that's where I got most of my drink cans from, But, and also when you're going through the litter bin, people give you money. Go, oh, poor sod, look at him, No, actually, it's near a forest, so there's no one around. So, you look through the litter bin quite with ease. Now, it says, Suko, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm so late. Note from parents, please, and lines, I think. A detention as well this week, yeah. Oh, Hatchy, hi all, hello. Right, now on with what we're going to talk about, which is one of my pet subjects. Cults. Not car. It's a bit like I haven't got a stutter, isn't it? I'm talking about cults. And have you ever seen the film I'm All Right, Jack with Peter Sellers? And that was made in 1959. And there's a scene in that where someone's got this bad stutter. And he goes, you clot. And everybody thinks he's going to swear, but he doesn't. And for 50s, that is pretty hot. Anyway, what I was going to say is tonight, what is actually happening in the world where people seem to be kind of brainwashed. I know I've covered this subject before, but I saw pictures today of people with, after Trump narrowly missed that bullet, allegedly, so we're led to believe. I see people with pieces of gauze taped to their ear in support. And somebody put a picture next to it of a sheep with an ear tag on it. What is wrong with people? It's similar to that film. Have you ever seen the film Morons from Outer Space? It's a classic. It's with Jimmy Now. Must have been made late 80s, early 90s. Oh, it is absolutely funny. And it's taking the sorry, I didn't say take the piss. The Mickey out of Close Encounters film. And what it's about is some inhabitants from the planet Plop land on Earth. And this planet is the opposite side of the sun. It's identical to Earth. And they have morons on this planet. A bit like that. The type of people that don't see chemtrails, and the type of people that believe that the government, and the type of people that wear that type. And it's called Morons Space. And there's a scene in it where the girl, she's putting some lippy on, and she's in this limousine, you see. She's supposed to be an alien. And it goes over a bump, and she goes, oh, and she does this sort of line on her face. And what should I do? Suddenly they arrive at the destination, they get out, and the people take pictures of her with this line up. And from there on, all the women that meet her have got a lipstick line going up their face. And that is what people are like. It is really, really weird. And was this going back to tin cans, by the way. I know I'm waffling on different subjects here. I made mine out of Coke can. I made a Transia stove out of cake tins, copper pipe, a few wing nuts. I used nothing but a hammer and nail to make it. Didn't have tin snips. It's still going strong. Good for you, baby with a laser. Yeah, you're a bit like me. Love making stuff. I've always been obsessed with making my own stuff. Camera says, seen that film. It's hilarious. Which one was it that wore the cropped t-shirt? Yeah, and do you remember that when Jimmy Dale says, I think I've just blown your gas oven up? and the other one is this spaceship lands, and there's all these scientists. This is 20 years later. Oh, sorry, that's what he meant with his tin, his cooker is going, 20 years later. Yeah, there's this scene where this spaceship lands, and there's all these scientists all standing around, and suddenly they blow the door off of this spaceship, and Jimmy now walks past, do you bloody well do this? And you just got to see it. It really is a funny film. That's when we had comedy, Now, what I was going to say is people, you see, I've always steered away from groups and clubs because I don't like groups and clubs, because what I'm usually fearful of is groupthink and hive mind, because it is contagious. We're all prone to it, and we can all suffer from it. And we can also suffer from a room that is rather dark and you have to put the light on. That's better, right? You'll see what I'm doing there. No, because the thing is, if you you've got to be very, very careful, because the mind gives off like vibrations, and it gives off radio waves or some form of wavelength. And you'll notice that these cults, if you look at these American cults of the 70s and 80s where people committed suicide, they worship the leader. Look at Maharishi, what's his name? Maharishi, the Indian gurus and fake gurus who are after the old money. These people have got a way of hypnotizing people, and it's very, very frightening. And I've witnessed it myself, and I've been subject, because I think it is a human thing. You can't help. There's something about being in with a group. You start to develop, but even though you're trying to stop yourself, a kind of hive mind. It is really, very, very. And there's another thing, like they reckon that ladies, when they're actually in dormitories and things like that, they have their monthlies about the same time. And there's something in the ether or something that's making our brains sort of tune in and that type of thing. And I think that people, for example, psychos and people like that, can tune in. And I've got a very, very small clip of film from Dr. Hare here, which I'll show you, which I think you'll find quite interesting. And he says it far better than I can. So here we go.
A psychopath's relations with others are superficial, surface, very, very little depth, mostly style over substance. And the idea is to impress other individuals, to somehow put them in a position where you can manipulate them and so forth. A psychopath is also a grandiose individual, has a very powerful sense of self, believes that he or she is the center of the universe, better, smarter than everybody else. The psychopath is also very manipulative, tends to manipulate, con, and deceive other people to try and mold them into something that they can use. Remember, the psychopath is really a predator, and as a predator, you're trying to groom and put your prey in the right position for where you can make some use of this particular object, is the way they would see them. Psychopath lacks empathy, and this simply means that it's very difficult or impossible for a psychopath to put himself inside the emotional skin of somebody else. They may understand at some sort of superficial level that this person is going through what could be construed as an emotion by other people, but I don't understand what it is. This is a psychopath's position. Lacks remorse is another characteristic that defines psychopathy. That is, having done something, you don't feel badly about it, unless one is caught. Now, a psychopath who is caught for committing a crime, the first thing he'll say is, yeah, I'm really sorry I did it, I feel remorse, but only when caught. Psychopath doesn't accept responsibility for his or her own behavior. Usually diffusion of responsibility is the name of the game for the psychopath. Somebody else maybe do it. It wasn't my fault, it was fate, and I'm not really responsible. Psychopaths tend to be impulsive, but in a fairly controlled sense. That is, most psychopaths are not going to do things if there's an external control present. The psychopath standing on the street corner is not going to commit a crime with the policeman standing right next to him. On the other hand, if the policeman is not there, if the external control is not there, then it's possible that he or she will do whatever he feels like doing if he has a chance of getting away with it. Psychopaths don't have long-term goals. Most of the things that they're striving for are short-term, and could refer to as a short-term form of hedonism. Poor behavioral controls is another characteristic that defines a psychopath. These are individuals who are likely to lose their temper very easily, to strike out and do things that are fairly irrational in the short term, but they do it in a very controlled manner. And they know what they're doing. There could be a reaction to frustration and so forth. Psychopaths tend to be irresponsible, and that means that their behavior doesn't take into account what's likely to happen to somebody else. They will put others at risk. Their own behavior puts other people at risk all the time. This could be in driving, it could be in their personal relations, or anything they do in their general life. Psychopaths also tend to engage in behavior that is antisocial or at least asocial from a very early age, and this continues on throughout most of the lifespan. And by this I mean their behavior is not necessarily criminal in the strict sense of the term, but in fact it's harmful to other people, other individuals. May not take into account the fact that your behavior is going to have negative consequences for somebody else.
Now you notice he said on there they don't make long-term plans, and this is what I've noticed. Now have a think about what we've got in power. They don't make long-term plans. They are trying to destroy our farming industry. Now they can only think at one stage, and that is, oh, we can make profit from building houses on where the farmland was. But they don't think the next stage ahead. They can't. It's impossible for them. And this is what we've got in power now. And you notice it's all short term. And that is the kind of communist psyche, to only think they have these massive 5-year plans, but it's cobblers, because it's not 5 years. It's lucky if it's 5 weeks. They do not think ahead. And this is what I've found with them. I've worked with them. I've got one, I believe, in my family, who married into my family, I hasten to add. And it's all very short-term gain. That's what they're after all the time. And I wonder if anybody else has found this. I mean, when you look at Houses of Parliament, most of them there, I would say, are narcissists. People sort of look at me, and I'm fantastic, you know, sort of thing. I mean, when you look at their election leaflets, it's all narcissism, telling you how marvelous they are, what a person of the people they are. Yeah, really? Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, it's bonkers. For example, where I live, I've just had a leaflet around my door that is a private contractor says that for, I think it was about £450 a year, they will supply the dustbins because the council's so rubbish, and they will collect your rubbish for you. So on top of the, well, I don't call it a council tax, it's a council confidence trick, because it is a confidence trick. You can have the option of getting this private company to get rid of your bins once every 2 weeks if you want. You pay more if you want it every week, and you can have as many bins as you want free of charge, and they actually work out what day you want to pick your rubbish up. Now, what do you want to pay council tax for? What do you want to need a local council for? If you can get, and I've worked it out that where I live, you could have a policeman that you could pay for, a gardener which goes round, or a street cleaner that cleans the streets. You could have people that's got children could actually pay a teacher, and that whole lot would cost less than £1,000 for everybody. Because there's 55 houses around where I live. So in the sort of like area where I live, there's 55 houses. So if you work it out, you're paying over the odds for council, well, fraud, not tax. And what you're paying for? You're paying for bullshit, basically. They waste money, they gob money out as if it's going out of fashion. And it's for people to have ego trips and people to be members of certain little organisations where they give funny handshakes. Yes. Let's see what we've got to say in chat about it. And we go along a little bit further. It says, Baby with a Laser says, a BBC documentary a while back claimed a third of people are psychopaths. I think that's a little bit high, because it's very difficult to tell a psychopath. They could be a sociopath. A psychopath is born that way. A sociopath learns that way. I mean, I think that a relative of mine is a psychopath, and he turned my sister into a sociopath, I think, allegedly, you know. But and of course, you've got narcissism as well. There's narcissists. Baby with a Laser says they function through learned behavior. Yes, that's the sociopath. It's only through abnormal upbringings does it show its hand, i.e. Fred West. Yes, but there is a biological difference in the brain, because if they do a scan of a psychopath's brain, the frontal lobe is completely different to a human's or our brain. And where we have areas where we show empathy, they haven't got it. They just can't show it. They're actually born that way. They cannot be cured. If they are brought up well, they won't go to crime or anything like that. And there are a lot of psychopaths who are surgeons, because they can cut people up. And if one dies on the operating theatre, they won't lose any sleep. It's because they have not got empathy. But they can be very good surgeons, and they can save lives. So it's, you know, it's a double-edged sword. The best captains apparently were psychopaths, because if a ship is sinking and they're going to have to close off part of that ship to save, say, 1,000 people, but it means killing 300 people, they will make that. They'll just do it without any worry about the killing the 300. Whereas another person will say, no, we can't close it off. We've got to save the 300. So that's, you know, generals and people like that. DJ Flipped says, as the man said, there are people, this Dr. here, who literally believe they are the center of the universe. That's right. I'm not sure if that's unique to psychopaths. No, it isn't. you sociopaths and narcissists as well. But I've heard a psychiatrist say this is very common. Yes, there's all different types. You know, there's narcissists. So I mean, a psychopath. It's always for personal gain. That's what the only person who exists in this world is a psychopath, and they can be your best friend one moment. They're so fickle, and your worst enemy the next. But of course, if you get a narcissist, that's generally the case. If there's a group like they say a truth group, you'll usually find that they might be very nice people, and then you'll find a narcissist will assume leadership and then become leader. And then what happens is the group fragments and they go off into subgroups. And then you get this hardcore that probably hate the leader's guts and will say it behind their back, but will still worship them. And if the way you'll know you're in a cult is if someone steps out of line, the rest of the cult turn against them, regardless of what information they have. So what you will find is that there will be a friend one moment and your worst enemy the next. I mean, I went to one, not my local one, I hasten to add, not what I was thrown out of. I'm going back, year or so back. It was up near Cambridge. I went to this one, and there was a fella, and that was very cliquey. And the reason I went to one of these Stanley Park groups is because I felt very isolated during the lockdown, but it's against my better judgment. Now, I went to this place up in, soon after I was thrown out, the local one, up in Cambridge, and I haven't really, and I've seen the two extremes. And there's a fella that had obviously upset. I don't know what had happened fully, but I walked in as like World War III when I walked there, and they say, "Oh, what's name and this and that, all this, that, and the other." And well, we're not talking to him. Oh, I'm not saying a word to him, and all this sort of stuff. So I stood there, and this bloke come along, and they're all going, "I haven't seen you," sort of like sending him to Coventry. I went, "Oh, hello," and started talking to him because I believe that I judge people not more by what other people say, but I judge for myself. And I seemed perfectly okay. And because I spoke to this person, they're all going, I thought, ooh, I've never been back since. I went there once and that was it. Then went to another one, sort of over near High Wycombe area, and really nice people, not like that at all. Completely opposite. But the trouble is, it's too far. I mean, driving for 2 hours on a Sunday, no way. So I don't bother with clubs and groups and that anymore. That's it. Because I'm not a club or group person. But you know you're in a cult when someone steps out of line. The rest of them who were friends with this person will be their worst enemy. That's how you differ the difference between a cult, and it's quite frightening actually. And where are we? We got here. Talking about local councils, they spend more on nonsense like diversity and Pride Month, etc., and then say they are broke. Yeah, that's right. Do you know, I know it's like that where you are, Kat. But on the side of fire engines, now fire engine, what is a fire engine for? Although if you talk to a fireman, it's a fire appliance, not an engine. So they get a bit upset about that. It's for putting fires out, isn't it? All about, what is it? LGB, God knows what it is. We do not discriminate. I don't think they're that. I mean, if a fireman runs into a smoky building, they're going to say, "Excuse me, are you an LGB?" Wasn't no? They're going to pick the poor son up and carry him out, aren't they? I mean, so what? I mean, it's meaningless and waffle. If you're human, you see other human, you save other human, and you don't ask and say, "Excuse me, are you what is it, transgender or whatever thing it is?" No. No. Lazy baby with a laser. It was claimed it showed up in brain scans somehow. That's correct. With psychopaths, it does show up in brain scans, but as I say, a sociopath it won't, because they can be cured. Psychopaths can't be cured. It's incurable. And this is why I say, I've sort of said this several times before, so I'm sorry if I'm boring everybody. I look on psychopaths like crocodiles. Crocodiles have as much right to live on this earth as we do, but they're predators and they're programmed to eat us. So you won't have one in your house. No, you'll have one in places where humans don't tend to mingle very much, you know, in the jungles or far off islands or whatever. Now, I believe that psychopaths, once they're found as being psychopaths, to hang them or anything like that is wrong. I'm very much against the death sentence. Put them on an island that's got infrastructure and everything that can support life, and that's it. And if they want to kill each other or whatever they want to do, that's entirely up to them. But don't let them come near us. Again, treat people with respect, but respect that they are different, and that's it. And it goes across. I'm not talking about race or religion. All races, all religions. These psychopaths are. So, to me, if somebody says, "Do I dislike someone because of a certain race or religion?" No, not really. If they're a nice human being, I couldn't care less. Do I dislike someone because they're a psychopath? Only if they harm humans, because there are some psychopaths that don't harm humans. Fine, it's not a problem. If they don't harm human beings and they are of an asset to us, don't bother them. It's only if they harm humans. People like are in government and things like that. I won't say the first word, but Hancock is a yes. Oh, hand on cock. Yes, I'm positive he is. Yeah, he's a real bleeding. But why is it they always look as if they just sort of sat on a wet seat, don't they? You know, if you sit on a wet seat, so you know, so is that me becoming incontinent, or did a little baby just was laid on this seat, or was it the dog? You know, different sort of thoughts go through your mind. That's life, but not as we know it. Good evening, inmates. God's sake, get a haircut. Yes, I did say a little close to the razor, didn't I? Yeah, yes. Do you know, I hate being bald. I really hate it. When I had head of hair, I used to have it down to my shoulders. I love long. I really like having long hair, and I grew a sort of moustache once. And he had it on for a while, and had a bald patch. Where was it? About there it was. And they called me, the office were they go, "Oh, it's bleeding Charles Bronson again." Here he is, you know, because it looked a bit like Charles Bronson when he just got up, you know, or Charles Bronson on his off day. So, and but no, I used to have hair down to my shoulders, would you believe? And I like long hair. I prefer it, much prefer it. And the problem with when you're bald is when you go out, you've got to wear a tit for tat hat. And I hate wearing hats. I don't like wearing hats at all. But I've got to, because otherwise it'll burn my head up. So, you know, but and also when it rains, you can actually feel the rain spots on your head. But when you've got hair, you don't have to, you know. Now, it's got to, Baby with a Laser. It was on that doc that this was discovered, i.e. the brain screens. That's right. There was a scientist who was on the show, on the documentary, when I last saw the television, I think. And he discovered he was a psychopath. He's a really nice character. This is why I say they're not all evil. And he said that he looked at this document and he had a brain scan. And he found out his family had a history of it. And he's one of the nicest people you wish to meet. But he admitted, he said, if he upsets someone, it doesn't bother him. And certain things like that, it doesn't bother. But he was a very nice person. And some of them are very nice people, because it doesn't mean to say they're all evil. You know, they're just born that way. We're all different. Again, it would be wrong to put them on an island away from us. They're nice. They're okay. It's the bastards like Tony Blair and people like that and Schwab. They're the ones that should be on an island. Now, and give a warning out before the show started. They give a warning out before the show. Yes, that's right. I think I remember that. Yes, can't remember the name of the scientist, but he's one of the nicest people we could wish to meet. He's a psychopath. There's a chappie on YouTube, and he's a scientist, and he admits he's a narcissist. He actually openly admits, I think, what guts that bloke's got, and he describes it, and he talks very nicely to people. Again, a very, very nice person, you know. Now, that's right. I'm not putting one in saying that all psychopaths are nice. I'll make sure that make that clear. I think it's only a small percentage of them that have got this trait where they kill. Baby with a Laser. I wouldn't disagree that a third are psychos. I've met them all my life. Yes, I wouldn't disagree. I would disagree. Yes, I think a third is too high. I think that it would be more in the way of oh, I don't know, but it would be something like 0.1% or something like that. I think it's very low. There's some of the people that behave like psychopaths when they're not. And Stephen Johnson, Sam Vaknin, correct. That's the man. A very nice person. He's an Israeli that lives in Eastern Europe now, and he really makes a lot of sense in what he says. One of the very interesting chap, but you couldn't dislike him. He's a very pleasant person, and I admire his guts for admitting it. You know. Now it says here, I've hardly seen a bald Oriental. Oddly, yes. Well, it's in your genes, you see. And I changed from Levi's to Wranglers, and it made no difference whatsoever. Strange thing is, I think it's from my father's side because he was bald, my dad was. But on my mother's side, my granddad had a full head of hair until the day he died. And used to have a brush. He never believed in using a comb. He always like that with a brush. And he had a very good head of hair. But his sons, all my uncles, I think, apart from one, the eldest, lost their hair. But the eldest one had a full head of hair, and that's strange, isn't it? They're the three stand-up comedians. So it's a weird thing, isn't it? The way it works out, isn't it? Now, those darn firefighters, they discriminate against fires. It's so rampant. That's right. Yes. You know, you phone them up and they say, well, we can't get round for another hour. Can you keep it going? You know, or something like that, you know. But what gets me, this thing about women being fire. No, it can't be firemen. Fire women, I suppose. I don't know. Now, a man is built to carry someone down a ladder. We weren't, shall we say, we didn't have the DNA for it. You know, we didn't evolve. Well, I don't believe in evolution, but we didn't, shall we say, suddenly become the type that. But a man is designed to hunt. Putting it basic, women are gatherers. That's why women can see colours better than men, because they looked after the babies and they picked the fruits, and they had to discriminate between different coloured fruits to know what the poison ones were and not the non-poison ones were, because men are a little bit colourblind compared with women. And the men were hunters. That's why most men are long-sighted and short-sighted, and some women are long. They're not long-sighted; they're short-sighted. You know, it's our things. I don't believe in evolution, but I do believe in modification. People adapt, or adaptability. People adapt to their environment. Now, oh yes, with hunting and things like that. If I'd passed out and I was in a fire, and you know that very few people get burnt to death in a fire, they are overcome by the smoke, and they actually drown on their own mucus. Believe it or not, it's not very nice, but that's what happens. That's a sad thing. Their lungs sort of fill up. Now, if I was sort of out in a building and a woman came through the window, well, if it wasn't burning building, I'd be quite happy. But if it was a burning building, you want a bloke to carry her down that ladder because they're strong enough to do it. And I mean, I'm sorry, I don't think women can be firefighters. I really don't. And I'm going to upset a lot of people there. But when men can't have babies, never have been able to, never will be able to, and all this bullshit, they're coming out with, and men are men, women are women. That's it. We're cut out for different roles in life. But believe it or not, they reckon that women fighter pilots during World War II, the Russian ones, were sometimes better than men because they can multitask more easily. So they're looking at the instrument panel and seeing what's going on and things like that, doing their nails. Put a bit of lippy on whilst they're flying along, Oh, if they've got an open cockpit, it's put the hairspray on. It's doing terrible things with my hair, And do you think if they're a Spitfire pilot, although women didn't go into the fight, they delivered planes during the war. They didn't go into the firing line. They had a mirror just above where they can do their makeup, you see, which is very handy, isn't it? Very good idea. Put a mirror there. No, it's actually to see if there's a German fighter behind you. And one of the pilots said that by the time you saw it in the mirror, it was too late anyway. But shall I tell the joke about a bloke on This Is Your Life, a Polish bloke? I think I've told it before. Do you want to hear it? Yeah, all right then. Polish bloke who was a famous ace pilot during World War II. It's a few years back, you see. And this is when I think Eamon Andrews did the show. And he said, and this part, he said, well, what happened on this morning when you shot down a load of planes? So he said, well, he said, I was flying along in my Spitfire and suddenly I saw a Fokker there and saw another Fokker over there and I shot at him and he came down and I shot the other Fokker there. And Eamon Andrews said, surely, he said, actually, so I better tell the audience, a Fokker is a type of German plane, it's the name of a German plane. The Polish bloke said, yeah, but they're all Messerschmitts that morning. Sorry, terrible one, isn't it? That really is crap. Yeah. Now, DJ Flip says there was a good documentary called Most Evil, which in one episode focused on psychopaths. That's right. I think that was the one I saw. I think it's on YouTube. I hope so. Jolie Motion or something. It goes into the frontal lobe. That's right. Yes, the frontal lobe. It is something. They show no empathy at all. They can't. And the other thing they do is if they go to a funeral, they're very good at mimicking. They don't understand why people cry at funerals, but they will mimic what they're doing. So someone's going, and there's a scene where Bill Clinton was walking along with a mate of his, and he's going, he's laughing and joking. They're going to a funeral, and they're obviously cracking gags, which is a bit rare because psychopaths don't have a sense of humour. And he, at the corner of his eye, he sees the camera going. And he goes from laughing to go, getting his handkerchief out and doing the old full, sort of routine. And they're very good at it. That's what they do. They're very good actors. And they've got no problem with lying. Lying doesn't mean anything to them. I mean, I've had a psychopath, my brother-in-law, who will lie to you straight to your face, look you right in the eye, and you think that he's telling the truth. No. Well, you know he's not telling the truth, but he'll lie. And that's it. There we got here. Oh, press the wrong button there. Baby the Laser. Wasn't he the guy who found out he was related to Lizzie Borden? I don't know. Yes. And he said, making a sandwich. Make sure it's not wholemeal bread. And he's going, what? Because currently, at the moment, I'm studying acupressure, not acupuncture. And the good thing about acupressure is, Miles, when he does acupuncture, that's 10 out of 10 for working. Acupressure is less, it's something like 8 or even 7 or even 6 out of 10. But it's surprising what you can do with acupressure. I won't say anything about the acupressure things you can do because I'm not qualified. I'm not a doctor. And you'd have to wait till Miles comes on next Sunday, plug, to talk about acupuncture, which is a bit different. But things like acupressure, if you're stressed and things like that, there's different pressure points you can use to calm you down. And now you're thinking, what's this got to do with wholemeal bread? Well, apparently what they've discovered is, and again, I'm not a doctor, search this out for yourself. There was a chap, what's his name now? There's a doctor, look him up. He's bloody good he is. He's on YouTube. His name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, Gundry. Okay, so it's Gundry, Dr. Stephen Gundry. And he said he was a top heart surgeon and he left the profession and started up on his own. And he's found out that people's illnesses and problems are caused by gut leakage. And he's noticed more and more people with problems since 1970. And in 1970, all the scientists were saying, you've got to have wholemeal this, wholemeal that, and you've got to have, the natural. No, because apparently what it does, it punches your gut lining, and you'll have a leaky gut, and all that poo, which should go out the exit, the rubbish disposal unit of your body, is leaking into your body because you've eaten wholemeal bread, which has still got the husks on. So he says, if you have bread, have white bread. Seriously. Again, please watch his documentary. I don't want to misquote him or anything like that. Go onto YouTube, put him down, and you'll see it. But it's really shook me rigid because I have brown wholemeal sort of, brown rice. No, white rice. And apparently in these poor countries, they beat the husks off the rice so they can have the white rice. And that's why they're usually very, very fit. It's only in these countries they say, oh, leave the husks on, it's good roughage. No, it's bad for it because it scores the inside of your gut, which is very, very thin and creates gut leakage. So I hope you might. So please, again, don't take my word. Look him up on YouTube, and I think you'll find him very, very interesting. And I'm going to talk to Miles about that because he's a nutritionist. So that I'm not going to use brown rice anymore. I'm going to go over to white rice. I don't have much rice anyway, and I don't eat bread. I've given up breads. I gave it up ages ago. So so I don't really have a problem. But another one is tomatoes. They've got sort of lectins and things in them. They're very bad for you as well. So I've given up with tomatoes as well. See, I'm a miserable sod, aren't I? Now, it says here, baby with a laser with a 10-pound baby on either breast. Oh, sorry, making a sandwich. It said baby with a laser making a sandwich with a 10-pound baby on either breast. There you go. See, raises a bit of a titter, doesn't it? But I hope you don't make a boo of it, though. Now, there we go. Hachi says, watch American Psycho with Christian Slater. Good movie. I'll tell you another one, which is really excellent, and that is The Third Man, because Orson Welles acts the part of a psychopath brilliantly. And the music's pretty good as well. And I wonder, I think I've got the part, I think I've actually still got it on here, where his acting is absolutely fantastic. And I think I might have it here. Where is it? Come on, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Or did I take it off? I might have removed it. I don't know. I think I removed it. Yes, I think it's not there. But if you see The Third Man, that's well worth watching because he'd studied it very, very carefully. And Orson Welles was the chap that said, when he was interviewed, they said, I can't remember who asked him, what do you think of politicians? And he said, well, I'm an actor and I recognise fellow actors. Now it says here, this is DJ Flip said, they find grief funny. Yeah, because they don't understand why people are grieving. I mean, I don't think they can understand love. They don't know what love is. They kind of an animal instinct. So if their wife passes away, it says, oh well, she's gone. That's it, sort of attitude, Baby with a laser says the sandwich remark was aimed at the Russian women pilots. Oh yes. Yes, I can make. Yeah, let's go with that again. So Russian women pilots. Hello, comrades. Making a sandwich with the 10-pound baby on each breast. Yes, bloody, they were big women, though, weren't they? And because the first another schoolboy humour gag. The first Russian to slide down a 10-foot razor blade, Arthur Bolokov, and there's a filthy gag actually. Now I can't say it on YouTube. It'd have to be on a Sunday show. It's a cracker, it is, but I can't mention it. I'll be banned, I think. It's a real smutty birdie. But the Russian, yes, but I can't actually crack it now. Baby with a laser, tomatoes and peppers too. The skins and seeds called leaky gut. That's right, yes. Peppers. What's the other one? What's the name for eggplant? That's another one. Not to have that. But I tell you, apparently what he says is the best for you is an avocado. But it's very difficult nowadays to buy an avocado that isn't black inside. or going off inside. And I'm always careful where the avocado comes from, because I only buy South American ones, because a lot of them are imported from a country that we're not allowed to criticize, and I've got a ban on that country. I won't buy anything from that country, because of I've got nothing against the people, but it's their government, which the way they're treating innocent people, I don't like it, you know. So I have a sort of, I've got my own ban on it. I won't buy anything from that country. Now we got here sausage sandwiches and proper milk here for supper. Actually, yes, spot on. Yes, I think that might be a gag about sausages as well. No, that's a filthy one. That one is. No, I can't mention that one. It says, oh sorry, Hereditary Skepfoot says, when I die, the doctor will blame it on smoking and tripping. What, you smoke and trip over, do you? Oh dear, poor sod, that must be far out, man. Yeah, groovy, yeah. Now, before we go any further, on the Sunday show, not this one, I hasten to add, with Dr. Fleetwood, but on another Sunday show, I'm going to have the world's worst record spot. So if you've got any really shit records, really so bad that absolutely that have to improve to be rated as awful, then please, send them either by email anyway, and I will, because you can be a little bit flexible on Rumble. And I'll only pay about 30 seconds to a minute of the record, because I don't think I'll be able to stand the whole record, because it gives you toothache, And as I've said before, the winner of the Kenny Everett worst record spot was "I Want My Baby Back," which is the worst. It won it on bad taste. It's not only bad taste; it's just bloody awful all the way through. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. That's coming up. And Joseph Cotton acted well in The Third Man too. Yes. Especially that bit on the Ferris wheel where they open the door and Joseph Cotton says, I can't remember it verbatim, but he tumbles what the third man is up to. That is, I can't remember the bloke's name now, but Orson Welles basically. And Orson Welles says, you should be pretty easy. No, Joseph Cotton said, I should be pretty easy to get rid of, because by the time I hit that earth below, there won't be that much left of me. He said, no, he said, and they won't notice a bullet wound either. Yes, very, and Orson Welles, brilliant he was in that part. They both were, Joseph Cotton and Orson Welles, good actors. And the actress as well, that was his girlfriend, she acted the part well, because at the end there's a twist in it. I don't want to, well, I suppose everybody's seen it really. You think that Joseph Cotton is going to go away and sort of live happily ever after with Orson Welles' girlfriend, because Orson Welles gets killed in the end, in the film, not in reality. But he doesn't. And it's good. And apparently I did hear that, who was the bloke now? Trevor Howard, who acted the part of the British military person. I heard this from Dave Starbuck, because Dave Starbuck, I think he could speak German with an Austrian accent, and he used to go to Austria a lot, and he was obsessed with the film, and he went around guided tours and all that. And he said that Trevor Howard was dressed in military uniform. And remember, this film was made in 1947, 1948, and he went, whilst it was on set, he went from mill into town dressed in his military uniform, and because it was at that time was under occupation by the forces, he got into serious trouble for it. I think he got arrested because he was actually in military uniform. That's not allowed. Well, it wasn't then anyway. In occupied zone, only military people, not actors, could wear military uniforms, So that's interesting. Now, massive numbers of avocados are grown in Portugal. Yeah, why don't you ever see the label Portugal on them? I don't understand that. Why don't we get Portuguese avocados over here? I mean, it's not that far, is it? I mean, You know, I mean, like if they store well, they could almost lob them over. I mean, it's just around a coast a bit, isn't it? Well, on the map, it's about what, an inch and a half, depending on what map you see. It's about an inch and a half away, isn't it, Cat? So, you know, but I avocados I can take and I'll leave them. They're all right, a bit soapy, I think. And it says, oh, baby with a laser, this is my pet hate. Puppy Love, the Osmonds. The same with me. I love that bloody record. And when he says, someone help me, please. Well, someone bleeding help me and piss off, you know. Oh, and the other one I can't stand is Crazy, was it Crazy Horses? Crazy Horses. Oh, a load of old terrible. And I don't know what it is about the Osmonds. They're a bit like Cliff Richard. Too squeaky clean. So, oh, we got nice white teeth. I mean, their teeth are inhumanly white. Unlike mine, which I am unhumanly a bit black, I think. I don't know. But, you know, I can't stand whitened teeth. It looks so false, you know. But it's weird, isn't it? You know, but Puppy Love the Osmonds. The other one is Football Crazy. I hate that tune as well. Loathe it. But top of the list of pet hates with tunes is Jerusalem. I really hate that tune. In fact, if I was near a church and they were singing it, I'd have to walk out or put my fingers in my ears. I hate the tune so much. And there's a funny, true story about what this is. I've heard this again from several people. Apparently, and this is long before I was on this earth, in the 50s, early 50s, there used to be American Air Force bases all around East Anglia, and there was a fair number in Essex. And they used to have American Forces Network. And I remember when I went to Greece many years ago, I tuned in the American Forces Network. It was quite good, actually. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen, was it Good Morning, what was it? Good Morning Vietnam, you know. Now, dealt with it like that. But anyway, the radio in those days, apparently, it was all sort of, this is the BBC Home Service and all that sort of. But the American Forces Network played the latest records with sort of, I suppose, Rock Around the Clock, which was been in the 50s, and Buddy Holly and all that. So people used to tune in. And they also had, I think this was before the pirate station started. So you're talking, it must have been about 53, 54, I don't know. I wasn't here then. I wasn't even an itch in my father's underpants at that point, but we won't go into that. But anyway, what I was going to say is, that's an old joke. What happens is someone told me this, who I work with. It was an old chap, and I actually heard it on the radio some years later. But what he said is that he was listening in one day and they was playing, I don't know, Buddy Holly or Rock Around the Clock or whatever. And there was a tune called Crying by somebody I can't remember. But anyway, what they did, and it was really like, they used to collect money, not for charity, because there wasn't that many charities then. Like if someone wanted a wheelchair, they would, you know, raise money in the American Air Force Base for the disabled person or something like that. Or they give to orphanages and things. It's all good PR. And they were really kind in those days. It's a totally different world. And but they were doing this sponsored record. And they're saying, this is, we got the aircraft fitter Johnson here. He's pledging $5 to have this chap sing Crying, you see. And then the sun was going up, you know, and there's Private so-and-so, he's pledged $1 for us to play Crying, you know. And it went on and on and on and on and on like this. And suddenly there's this hell of a crash, bash, wallop. Give me the microphone. And it was the colonel, the top man of the Air Force Base. You could hear this, okay, my wife, Crying is her favorite record. And she has run off with my best friend. I'll pay $100 not to play that bloody record. bang. And you can just imagine this poor sod sitting in his office, chewing away at his cigar, listening that he could have this record crying put on. And I can just imagine that happening, really. So now, what have we got here? We got some good ideas. I'll make a note of these after the show. So we got what we got now. Now, oh yes, here we are. DJ Flip says another Osmond cringer, little Jimmy and the long-haired lover from Liverpool. Oh, it was bloody awful. And does anybody remember Huey Green and Opportunity Knoxer? Opportunity Knocks, friends. And does anybody ever remember when they did a live outside broadcast from an army base in Wales? I've never seen anything like it. And there are some real cringily awful acts on there. And they had a little girl tap dancing and another one singing. And then they had a belly dancer in an army camp. Yeah, belly dancer. She's doing all this. And you can almost see the fly buttons popping. Because these blokes have just come back from some, I don't know, been to Aden or somewhere, or the Middle East, I don't know. They just come Falklands or wherever. So they're sitting there, all these randy Marines were sitting there as this belly dancer, and she's just, shall we say, she's got minimal clothing on that just about covers any embarrassment. And she's, and they had purposely had the shittiest acts on at her. And they used to have this thing called, I called it a crapometer, but it's a clapometer. And Freddie Starr said it was a bloke with a plastic band around his finger with this little, it was, it was false. And of course, it was, and now we have the little girl who was Lucy, who was tap dancing. You get this at the back. And then he says, and now we have the yodeling dog. And now we have Sonia, the belly dancer. She won it. And next week, they went to another army camp and she won it again. No. And what I like is what Spewy Green says. He says, just goes to show our fighting boys and girls in the forces like culture. I bet they did, yeah. Typical, isn't it? Now, we have a bit of a wangle here about this chap, was it Johnson Van Vatkanin? Yes, he's the narcissist chap. And people have been wondered why he was mentioned. So that's it. But that was what we got here. Stephen Truthseeker says, hello, just popping in for a quick one. Yes, yes. I mean, I just wonder, we was talking about Freemasons last night. And I hasten to add, I never have been, never want to be, not had anything to do with it. But I'm wondering if a Freemason sort of wants a quick ritual, does he nip into the local lodge for a quickie? A ritual, I mean, because do they feel the need for a quickie ritual? Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, now, but hang on a minute. Cat Holly says, paper roses, was it? It wasn't roses. Paper roses. Mary Osmond, totally nauseating. Yes. In fact, I would say puppy love is the one that does it for me. A sick bag isn't big enough. I'd say a dustbin would be about the size. You just feel you want to vomit. It's so awful. So I'll make a note of these. The trouble is, do you think I'd need to put a government health warning on that people might need psychiatric help if I play these? And of course, there's that opera singer. What was her name? Florence. Yes. Was it Florence? Yes. There was a film made about her who couldn't sing, and she actually murders these songs. So please bring them in. So far, the Osmonds seem to be the top ones the pet hates. But, oh, yeah. Paper roses. She couldn't pronounce it properly. That sort of family groovy. I just. Oof, right. We got here. What? There seems to be a bit of a thing on about this bloke called Van Valenkin or whatever. She said, Steve, he did. He said, yes, that's the name shortly after you posted, mate. He mentioned it out of turn. Yes, I do mention things out of turn. Yes, baby with a laser. Now we got here, we're going down. Where are we now? Stephen Trinsica says, how strange. I was only thinking of those Osmond songs yesterday. Very strange. See, they could win it. I don't know. You see, it's got to be cringingly awful. And I think Puppy Love, that bit where she says, come and help me please. How does he not feel embarrassed by singing that shit? It's horrible. So, now, what's this? Check out Mace Energy Method. Okay. Chase, can you elaborate on that a bit, Caroline? Caroline Murphy, check out Mace Energy Method. Huey Green, very naughty man. Yes. Because what's the name? Yates, wasn't it? She found out that Huey Green was her father, and she committed. Well, I don't know whether she committed suicide or not. They say. Now we got here. Government Health Point camera said the warning for the songs should be: please have a sick bag ready. I laugh my ass off. Yes. Oh, Kath, I'm so sorry. You can get ointment for it or tablets. You're suffering from shawaddy waddy. Yes. Some girls day. Oh, bloody hell. Was it shawaddy waddy that did that? I might get muddled up with another group. Might be. I don't know. I think it was them, wasn't it, Kat? Some girls do, some girls don't. Shawaddy waddy. It sounds like a sort of embarrassing illness that people go down with, I'm afraid since he's been mixing with those girls, he's gone down with shawaddy waddy. Oh, no, he hasn't. Yes, he had to see the consultant about it, because they reckon she might have shawaddy waddy. Now, Angela Dempsey says, detest Looney the Pink. Used to turn it off. I'll tell you something. If you want to hear something so awful, you've got Florence, of course. But I think the worst is Mrs. Miller. Have you ever heard of Mrs. Miller singing Yellow Submarine? It's so bad, it's almost good. It's as I've often said, it'd have to improve to be rated as shit. It's horrible. Paula Yates, that's it. Yes, Paula Yates. Turns out was Spewy Green, not Jess Yates. Was she always thought Jess Yates was her father? It wasn't. Huey Green was her father, because Jess Yates, I think he was he married he was a bishop, wasn't he? He married an actress, because he used to be on, was it Stars on Sunday? He used to be on an organ. He used to say these nice things. He used to have a piece of paper, Mrs. Sanso, and things like, hello, I've got a beautiful card from Mrs. Smith, and this is to her dear neighbour, and she says, I've got a bigger and better washing machine than you'll ever be able to afford. That wasn't quite like that, but and things sort of, it's also a bit like Highway with Harry Seacombe, who I could never stand Harry Seacombe. Why he was part of the Goons, I'll never know. He looked like a spare part. Pushing all his sort of, I don't know, something about that man. Now, it says here, fight, fit, acadoo, push pineapple. Oh, yes. Tight fit, acadoo, push, yes. Big do. Oh, yes. The Rubettes. Yeah, I had a touch of the Rubettes. I think it's the beans I had today. It stunk terribly. It really did. I mean, almost always clear the shop I was in. You know, that's how bad it was. Yeah, it's very terrible. It's very, very embarrassing if you have a touch of the Rubettes. Yeah. Oh, so was it the Rubettes that did some girls do and some girls don't? Or Shorty was it? I think it's the Rubettes, wasn't it? I couldn't give a shit really. Yeah. The other one is Bucks Fizz when they rip those skirts off. Yeah, and they're in their 70s now and they still rip their skirts off. Well, I suppose it might have a nice figure, you know. But I don't know why we go through different eras. Why do people keep trying to keep that era on? I don't understand it, you know. But and we've got here, laugh at that, Rubettes. I love that song, La 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 La. Very imaginative title, isn't it? La 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 La. Does anybody remember? I was very young, I hasten to add, Lieutenant Pigeon, who couldn't actually perform live, and when they did, they was on Top of the Pops. I think my sister was watching it. She used to tape Top of the Pops with a tape recorder, a cassette or something, and they were live, and they got all out of tone, all out of rhythm, and just made a complete balls up. It was actually a studio type band, I think, Lieutenant Pigeon. Moldy old dough, you know. Says mainstream music, yes, MSM, yeah, that's really what it is, you know. And Kat says Hereditors get flipped back in the day. Just back, Hereditors get booked back in the day when we were deluded. Yes, that's right. And some of the records that I bought, I look at, well, before I chucked them out, and thought, what a load of shit. Why did I buy that for? You know, I remember I bought Brian Ferry. There was one record I liked, and the rest of the LP was naff. But I think it's Kenny Everett used to say, you always know a good group because you can pay the LP from beginning to the end without skipping a track. And there's very few groups you can do that with. ABBA, I think you could. Yeah, I like ABBA. I haven't got carpet slippers, you know, but I do happen to like ABBA. And I still think the best they did was before they broke up. You know, Visitors, bloody brilliant album that was. Yeah, definitely. And oh my God, we got a few here. We got loads of them here. The Singing Nun. Wayne Fontana was upset that she kept him off the #1 spot. Was that da 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 da? Was that the Singing Nun? I think so. Don't know. Xanadu. Do you know it's too many? Dave D. Dave Dozy B. Mick and Titch, wasn't it? Yes, Dave D. Yes, because yeah, Xanadu. I couldn't stand it when Olivia Newton-John tried to sing it. Xanadu. It sounds like a lavatory cleanser, doesn't it? You know, go to Tesco's and buy Xanadu. It's your best lavatory cleanser. Captain Sensible. Yeah, I remember him. Crap, wasn't he? Oh, hang on. I'm going to throw up now. Father Abrams, the Smurfs, Baby with the Laser. Oh, bloody. That's too many I put on the show. I've got so many. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I'm actually feeling kind of nausea coming over thinking of it now, you know. Peters and Lee. Oh, welcome. And Peters used to actually live around the corner to where I live. Yeah. He just, doesn't seem around the corner, about a couple of miles away. Yeah, he was in the same area. Hang on, was it Lee? It's a blind bloke. He used to live around where I live. Yeah. And now it says here, Sean Hamer. Hello, Sean. Hi all. Yes. If there's a cringeometer, this will be flicking into the red. Surprise with her TV show. Oh, freaking Nora. Oh my God. That was cringeworthy. I'll never forget when they went to a building site. And she said, "Oh, hello, surprise, surprise!" There's all these sort of hairy ass builders sitting around, tattoos all up their arms, all this. And they did this sort of singing thing, and she's singing along, "Surprise, surprise," like this. And all these builders sort of like, "Whoa." And it was so false and so overacted. Again, a dustbin wouldn't be big enough for throwing up in. I think you need a bath full of. It's cringing. Now it says it. What is it? Laugh out loud. Baby with eyes. I know Wayne Fontana's drummer. Really? And he had a massive whip. Did Dave D? Oh, he had a big one, didn't he? Yes, yes. Most of the yes, that was. Hang on a minute. That was one. Xanadu. Yes, it was Xanadu. Yes, I'm getting muddled up because Olivia Newton-John did the Xanadu one, didn't she? Yes, yes, I know what you mean. Now we got here. Bon Jovi. Yes, I'll tell you another one I might slip in. Shatner, William Shatner, trying to sing. Yes, not very nice. Because no, I won't tell the one about ladies' knickers. You've heard it before, haven't you? Ladies' knickers gag. He started a factory making ladies' knickers, but it never took off because he called it Shatner panties. No, it's not very funny, is it? It says, "It ain't the unexpected you wanted to hit her between the eyes." Scylla, of course. Yeah, the way she croaked it was a bit strange, wasn't it? They reckon she died a bit strange in very mysterious circumstances. Because, did I mention? Yeah, I did mention Bon Jovi, didn't I? Paul Mullins, yes. But, yeah. Yeah, so something, because her real name was Cilla White, wasn't it? She changed it to Black, because someone named her as Surprise, Surprise! And I couldn't stand Blind Date. What a horrible program. It was so false, Oh, I like to please all the ladies and all that crap, And I come here tonight and I'm wearing a short skirt, so what? Now, DJ Flipped, Telly Savalas with his talking version of originally by Bread. Oh, yes. Yes, I remember that. Chris, are you scraping the barrel? Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, very much so. David Hasselhoff. Oh, yeah, he was a bloke with that car, wasn't he? Yeah, yes. And we got it. Was it every New Year when I was a kid? Cilla Black, Shrew would get put on alongside Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. Fuck's sake. Yes, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. How do these people get famous? After the show, tap into YouTube and put Mrs. Miller, Yellow Submarine. If you've got any animals around, I'd lock them out. It's to say it was crap would be an understatement. And of course, opera less horror rather less Star Trek because William Shatner. Why do you always look as if you had a cucumber up his arse? Okay, it's Captain Log. I've got a cucumber up my arse, And why do all the planets have exactly the same gravity as Earth? Don't you think that's a bit bloody strange? Isn't it? Yes. But now let me got the. We got. Does anybody remember Norman Scott case with was it Scott and because can't remember it now, but it was a very famous case for the politician, but I can't remember it with the gag, yes, Rocket Man did he do that by William Shatner? Blooming awful. Yeah, because someone said he might have been pissed when he did it. Might as well be. Did you do Rocket Man? Now, Cat Holly says Scylla was fine when her son went out. Then she fell down the stairs. I read she knew something on Savile and those types and was feeling like chatting. Yes, I heard similar. She knew too much. Yes, because everybody that came up against Savile had a nasty end. Like Isabel Barnett was found in the bath. Lady Isabel Barnett and Barbara Kelly. They were going to expose paedophilia in the BBC, and they're going to start a child line. And Barbara Kelly was the wife of what's his name now? A Canadian bloke who did a show similar to That's Life. I can't remember his name, but it'll come to me later. And what happened? He got fired, and so did she. And she was going to expose it all. And then suddenly Esther Ranson has this new show it's called That's Life. And surprise, surprise, along comes Childline. And I don't think any PDOs have ever been arrested from Childline. Interesting, isn't it? Yes. Got Lorelei from Bread. Yes. And did you know that Cilla Black used to put on a Liverpool accent because people in Liverpool didn't speak like her? Oh, all right, and all that sort of stuff, Mrs. Miller, Mouldy Old Doe, Lieutenant Pigeon. No, Mrs. Miller was an American, and she sung Yellow Submarine solo. It was a terrible noise. Jeremy Thorpe. Thanks, baby with a laser. Yes, Jeremy Thorpe. That was it. And Norman Scott. And he had a sexual relationship with Jeremy Thorpe. And that was in the days when it was very different to the world now. And Jeremy Thorpe, hired a contract killer to bump Norman Scott off and bump him off. But the killer was so incompetent that he actually shot his dog by accident. Poor dog. I'm not laughing because of that. It's very bad. And he also went to the wrong place. I think he went. He's supposed to have got to somewhere in Devon, and he didn't. Anyway, putting the story sideways, there's a court case, and Jeremy Thorpe got away with it. And I can say this now because he did. He did say apparently that if he goes down, he'll bring plenty with him. But there was a joke going around. They called it Scott of the Arse Antics. And what has Mr. Spock and Jeremy Thorpe got in common? They both beamed up Scotty, and that was another gag that went on there. But what was disgusting is that they went into every detail of the newspapers. And I remember reading the Evening Standard one night, and Norman Scott walked into the court wearing a pair of black laced up shoes, and Jeremy Thorpe was wearing this or wearing that. Every explicit detail. And I was just thinking, do we really need to know? They lay together and he said, hello, darling. I don't want to know. But anyway, I think that it was typical that Jeremy Thorpe was going to get away with it because he knew too much. And it's a wonder he lived to right old age as well, Now we've got more awful record spots. David Bowie, Major Tom. Yes, yuck. Yes, he did do some crap records, didn't he? And Kat said, Esther Rancid knew it all, but stayed quiet. Yeah, but I mean, back to that Jeremy Thorpe case, I feel sorry for that chappie, Scott, because in a funny sort of way, because I think Scott was going to blackmail Jeremy Thorpe. I think so. I don't know too much about the case, but Jeremy Thorpe, I think he was a member of the old handshake brigade, and that's how he got away with it. Because let's face it, anybody else hiring a contract killer out to kill someone, they'll be in bloody big trouble. It will go down for several years. And the other thing, they delayed the trial because there was going to be an election. So there he is, Jeremy Thorpe, going around the West Country. He was in Devon, going, oh, hello, everybody, and all sort of bold as brass, all this, and sort of couldn't give a shit, because I think he knew he was going to get away with it. Law, what is it? Law for the rich and law for the poor. So, but now we got here, my bad Mrs. Mills is the one. Yes, Baby the Laser, Mrs. Mills' Yellow Submarine. It is beyond cringing. It is it's just awful. Ugh. Nah, David Bowie was a good artist. Stephen Tracy, yeah, I suppose so. Baby with a Laser. Esther Rancid lived in the New Forest, did she? I didn't know she lived in the New Forest. I thought she lived in London. Loads came out when Savile died on the David Icke website. A cyber attack cleaned it up. Interesting. That was it. Baby the Laser. David Bowie, the Laughing Gnome. Yeah, you from the Gnome office? Yeah, it was a sort of a ha 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 he, I'm the Laughing Gnome. Yeah, it was all right, Yes, I like gnomes. I got two in my garden, Eric and Ernie. Yeah, I have to take a picture of them, Eric and Ernie. Yeah, two garden gnomes. They're concrete as well. Now, I don't know why, but TV, this is Sean Hamer, and pop people always made me feel uneasy. Yes, I think Top of the Pops made me feel uneasy because the compares on there always looked, they always looked like a sort of, I don't know, like a penguin in the desert, completely out of place. Ed Stewart was one I couldn't stand. I really couldn't stand that bloke. And bloke over the road to me, him and his missus used to go on cruises. And rather them than me, that's something I'd hate. And they said that Ed Stewart was the guest on the cruise. And it was really, they said he was absolutely deadbeat. He just sort of, and they couldn't see anything in him. It just wasn't like he just sat there and spoke, and now Jeremy and Norm usually had hard-boiled eggs for breakfast. Jeremy and Norm usually had hard-boiled eggs. I'll probably get the gag afterwards. It sounds like a good gag, but I'm just a bit too tired, a bit too thick to work that one out. Had hard-boiled eggs afterwards. Yeah, I think Bowie was one sick. This is Sean Hamer. One sick piece of work. Check out Brett Norman's info on him. Yuck. He was a bit strange, wasn't he? Came from Brixton, apparently. Hatchy. Old Tony was a great performer in a Westminster toilet. Oh, yes. That wasn't Westminster. It's actually Longacre. Yeah. And I think they should have a blue plaque up, like a tourist industry of it. I could, This is where Tony was found with another man in the toilet. Yes. A bit of it flushed about that, wasn't he? Oh, that's another thing. Psychopaths don't find embarrassment. They don't get embarrassment. They will not be embarrassed by anything. That's another little thing. Now we got, Cat Holly says, Bowie was well dodgy in my honest opinion. Some occultish type stuff. Yes. I found him a bit creepy, actually. He's a very good singer, though. He's a good actor. He was in Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. And he did his acting very well in that. I think but the only thing I like about that film though is a soundtrack to it. The soundtrack is bloody marvellous, the film. Yeah. It was filmed in New Zealand, apparently. It wasn't. But Tom Conti speaks Japanese in it as well, which is quite interesting. Sean Hamer, me too. Never got on with the mainstream. Bowie and Bolan had shady pasts. Yes. I was fans of them both, Baby with a Laser. Look at it. Bowie liked to cover one eye, as do many of the occultists. Yes, that's right, camera. Yeah. And what's this we got here? Esther, now, Hatchy says, Esther is out west Wellow somewhere, apparently. She's thinking of popping over to Switzerland on a one-way ticket. Oh, shall we have a whip round? Yes. I thought she lived in London though. Oh well. Oh, we all know about Miranda Blair. Yes. Well, everybody in politics, as far as I know, is blackmailable. I really do believe that, you know. And we got here. What's this? There's about 16 to 2-hour breakdowns of the fifth. He was, hang on, Sean Hamer. There's about 16 2-hour breakdowns of the fifth he was into on Brett Norman's Satanic Media Agenda show series. Interesting. Member of the Otto, for starters, but that's nothing compared to what he was into and representing. I never really got into Bowie very well. I never thought Bowie, some of his stuff was all right, but I never really, you know. Blair is a Fabian. This is Angela Dempsey. 141 MPs are Fabians. So is useless von der Leyen, EU president. Oh, I know. So is useless von der Leyen, EU president. Yeah. Well, the three astronauts that were the first ones to set foot on the Area 51 film studio. Oh, sorry, on the moon. Whatever way you want to believe it. They're all 33-degree Masons. Surprise, surprise. You know, I think most American presidents are. So, yeah, that's it. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, or joining me, and Eric the Plant as well. Fred the Plant, sorry, not Eric, Fred. He's holding it very well, isn't he? That Keir Starmer look. He does look a bit like Keir Starmer, doesn't he? Anyway, next show will be on Sunday, and I'll just pop this up here again. Sunday, the 28th, which will be this Sunday. Bloody hell, this time's flying, isn't it? And it's with Miles Fleetwood. I'm going to drag him on kicking and screaming. And we're hoping to have guests on the show as well. So that'll be interesting. And of course, this next Monday, we'll have Josie on the show. And Josie's very, very interesting. I met Josie last Tuesday, and she organised this event for John Hamer where he spoke. And, you know, it's very good as well. So so we're going to be looking forward. It's going to be rather healthy next week because we're going to have Miles, which we're going to plan the show out on Wednesday. I'm hoping to go and see him on Wednesday. That's, of course, if he's not busy. He's normally, you know, sometimes quite. It's like any business. You're either up to your neck in it or it's quiet. It's never the happy medium. And we've got a new guest, Josie, coming on this time next Monday. So look forward to seeing you then. And it's just, as I say, if you look back through the history, the last 2 weeks in July, or it's always sparse for guests. It's, I don't know what it is, holidays, looking after children. I just don't know what it is, but it's always sparse this time of the year. But thank you so much for joining us. And as I'm talking, I'm waffling here, trying to find the outro. And of course, where are we? I've lost it. Where is it? Oh, it's here somewhere. I've lost it again. Here it goes. Come on. It's gotta be here. It's gotta be here. Isn't that strange? It's disappeared. It really has disappeared. Oh, here it is. I got it. It's me. Thank you very much for joining me, as I say. See you next Sunday on Rumble. Okay. And also, please remember, you'll have more information if you look on my Telegram channel, which is Fockham Hall. So please go on to there as well. And we hope to get the Bowler Hat Farmer on soon as well. So I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday, 8 o'clock on Rumble. And whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. Good night.